Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Historical Gamer once again, and today I'm going to be playing Commander the Great War. This is part 14 of my series. I'm definitely intending to finish the war out. I know I've had a couple of longer series in the past that haven't finished, but the Commander series still gets pretty good views. Seems like people are still pretty interested in it. And yeah, I mean, definitely something I'm interested in continuing. One thing I did want to mention is all the previous videos I've been playing were before the initial patch for the game. There has been a patch, I believe, that's come out. There might be another one that they're working on, but basically the previous version was all the launch version of the game. There have been a few changes. I believe this management tab was added. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember seeing it at all. It gives you a nice breakdown of your finances, your current stockpiles, your current income, upkeep, research costs, balance, and what you're going to have next turn. Also lets you go ahead and expand ammo production, rail, transport capacity, gives you information on that, allows you to select between all your countries. One thing that didn't exist before the patch in the launch version of the game I was playing is a double confirm rule. So in the past, if you clicked once, your unit would move instantly and you wouldn't get any kind of confirmation. So it led to a lot of mistaken unit movements. Well, in this case, now there is a double click system where you click once, it'll show you where they're going to go. You click twice and the unit will actually move. We are currently in March of 1916. Why is there this big open patch in our rear? Maybe that'll get taken care of here soon. And in the Far East, well, first of all, I guess we're going to go on a summary here because it has been a little while. The Sinai Peninsula, we've got the British blocked up somewhat okay along there. They haven't landed in Kuwait yet, so that's good. If we go into the Caucasus, the Russians are in a lot of trouble here as we are advancing with the Ottomans on Orenburg. We're about to take Zaristan next turn, and the Russians have finally... Well, they've already deployed one full infantry unit to Stavropol a few turns ago, which we took, but now they're deploying a unit to Rostov as well. So we're starting to run into thicker groups of enemy troops. But again, we're about to take Saristan, which is Stalingrad, Rostov, which is on the Black Sea, and beginning to get into kind of the hinterland of Russia. I think advancing as far as Moscow is pretty much out of the question. But yeah, meanwhile, we've also deployed a Austrian force, a Bulgarian force, or is it Bulgarian? Is that Bulgaria? Yeah, Bulgarian, Austrian, and Ottoman force here to deal with a Russian invasion toward Budapest from the, I guess Ukraine is kind of in this area, right? No, Ukraine's down here. But anyway, along this area where we've lost Krakow, Przemysl, and Lemberg, we're not in any shape to turn the tide on them, but anyway, that's where they are. Meanwhile, we've rescued this cavalry unit from being cut off and are attempting to relieve Berlin a little bit from the south with these 4 units, if you will, kind of advancing haphazardly and without a whole lot of direction from the south. In the north, we've got a situation developing where Berlin is on the front line. I like to think that's not street-to-street fighting yet. But anyway, also attacks, by the way, have a double confirmation now as well. You can see there that army unit did some pretty good damage without loss against that Russian unit. But we're still heavily outnumbered. I'd be interested to see if the game has added any kind of balance against Russia's seemingly incredibly powerful military. On the Western Front, things go relatively okay. We've pulled back a little bit, kind of in the direction of Brussels. We had advanced closer to Paris. Things are pretty stagnant here. We had advanced close to Dijon, but we've pulled back since we were a little bit overextended. And I'm hoping that I can pull one of these 2 full-size units out toward the east. I could possibly pull back, maybe form a line along here, somewhere like at the narrow point between Netherlands and Switzerland, to try and shorten my line and relieve Berlin, but I'm going to be risky and pray that the Russians aren't able to take Berlin and that we don't have to worry about that, but that may be a foolhardy strategy. In the Italian campaign or Italian theater, things have stabilized somewhat. We've advanced into Italy a little bit. But yeah, there's that. Also, the nice thing is if we look at the management tab, we can see the manpower of every country, which I did not know before. Austria is somewhat low on manpower. Germany is somewhat low on manpower with about 1,900. I'm not sure. What is that? Ground? Oh, those are ground units. Total manpower invested in ground units, maybe? But anyway, if you look, the British only have 70 manpower in their ground units. The French have 337. And it also gives you artillery, air force, and naval units. So the British Navy at 78 is now actually smaller. I assume this is some kind of firepower rating. I'm not sure exactly. Actually smaller than the German Navy at this point. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. We could probably, once we fix our fleet up a bit, maybe challenge British naval supremacy and cut supplies off. Could be a big deal. So I guess we'll see what we decide to do there. Yeah, we've taken Serbia. We're starting to kind of form a little bit of a defensive line because it does look like Romania and Portugal will come into the war sooner or later. But at this point, they have not. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can do this turn. We've more or less exhausted the rest of our movement points. So let's go ahead and let the AI play its turn, and we'll see what situation develops in late March. So the French continuing to launch attacks on the Western Front, at least to some degree. It's interesting that they've... what is this? Are they just leaving a hole in the middle of their lines? Like, what's going on here? Whoa. What's going on in Italy? Large-scale French offensives going on here somewhere. My main concern at this point is Russia, though. This Eastern Front, especially. We've still got one unit cut off here in Königsberg. The Russians did reduce Danzig, unfortunately. We lost that lost that city a few turns ago. Meanwhile, the Russians continue advancing further and further into German territory, as you can see here, threatening to cut off a Berlin area, if you will. But I wonder if the AI is overextending itself somewhat. I sure hope they are. I just don't have the manpower to really follow through on any kind of encirclements at this point. I need to use that naval unit in the Mediterranean really badly. Okay, so further economic deterioration. We can see the manpower qualities dropped to 8 in Austria-Hungary. We're down to 85% of our production output. We've developed mustard gas and steel helmets for the Ottomans. Meanwhile, we've produced new Bulgarian infantry units as well as a German infantry unit. So that's good. Goodness. I mean, just look at how thin the Russians are letting their lines get here. Be really tempting to try and cut them off. Oh, no. I wanted... All right, so one flaw with the game that I just pointed out. First of all, I've never restarted in this entire campaign. Despite all the bad things that have happened, I've never replayed a turn. But I did feel it was necessary to do that so I could show you what happened. What I did was I selected a unit and intended to select another unit to kind of see what its movement path was. But the problem with this new double-click system is if you actually select the unit next to you, you're just going to swap places with that unit. So you kind of have to go a roundabout way to select the units you want to select. It's a little bit silly, but all in all, once I get used to it, I'm sure it'll be fine. We can see the Russians here destroyed our unit in Stettin and took the city, so that's not good. Meanwhile, they've further overextended themselves here. I really feel like they're getting into a dangerous spot, but I don't have enough manpower to really take advantage of it. I think what I'd like to do, I don't know how feasible this is. I'd like to try, this cavalry unit could really, I could cut off 4 Russian units in a pocket here. That's not out of the question at all. So let's see here. Good Lord, don't double click there. Okay. We could also just cut Prague off, but I like the idea. Here. Then I need 3 more units. I don't think I've got, I don't have them. Oh, maybe I do. All right, we are going to launch a bold move here. This is a little bit risky, admittedly. So here we go with our epic encirclement plan. We'll see how this plays out. We'll move this unit here. Oh, shit. They're going to get caught between like 3 units, aren't they? Why did I do that? There's no point in moving them. Oh. Bah, whatever. I'm not going to undo it. That'd just be a little bit cheap. That's just stupid. Why did I do that? All right, so here we go. What do we want to do? Hopefully the Russians can't break out of this. I'm just not sure what the best route is to go about doing this. I think we'll move the cavalry unit up here. Move this infantry unit here. We're going to shorten our lines, if you will. And hopefully, you know, as we can see here, we've now cut off these 4 Russian units. So that's good. I'm going to pull this artillery unit back here because there's no point in keeping it there. Trying to save it at least. And we'll put this infantry unit kind of in between. Let's say in between the Russians' ability to break out would be my hope. I want to prevent them from breaking out easily. So we're doing this. Yeah, I believe. Oh no, I did it again. God damn it. God damn it. What the hell? See, that's just too easy to do by mistake. Double clicking takes getting used to. Anyway. No, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Okay, so there. Well, that's good. That unit nearly destroyed that Russian unit, so hopefully these guys are dug in enough to withstand an assault. At least it should only be coming from 2 fresh Russian units. So we've now cut off 4 Russian units here behind Berlin. Probably advanced too far for their own good. I'll reinforce these guys because we need to make sure that we hold there. And yeah, so that's what we're going to... These guys, what should these guys do? Yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to move this unit here. It is risking getting cut off itself. However, the good thing is it should help prevent these 2 units from being able to get at these guys fully. So the Russians hopefully won't be able to break out. Anyway, so that's my brilliant move there. Or that's my hope for my brilliant move. Why can you attack here but not here? Oh, because you don't border them. Okay. Good Lord. These Russians, there's just so many of them. Nope. No. God damn it. The whole double clicking is really annoying, honestly. As annoying as accidentally clicking in places was, the double clicking is really annoying too. What the hell are the French doing? Did the AI lose its mind? Maybe this is just a bad example of playing a game between patches or something, because why are they just leaving open holes in their front line right now? Like, I don't understand. You're just trying to get me to move through? This is some kind of stunt? All right, so this train unit, we're going to move to the eastern front. And we'll... I can't reinforce them. What the heck? I guess you can't move by rail and reinforce. Anyway, so we did that. We're going to reinforce these guys along the western front now that we're cutting off some of their reinforcements. We're also going to move this unit to the eastern front. It is depleted somewhat, but if the Russians get cut off, you know, having depleted units shouldn't be too much of a problem. So we pulled off all our reserves from the eastern front, or from the western front, to go to the eastern front. Hopefully, with the opportunity to deal some serious hurt on our enemies. Meanwhile, I'm hoping maybe I can... Yeah, successful attack. So, let's see. Alright, so we've now cut off... Well, I don't know if they're actually cut off, but we've now... Oh no, that was dumb. That was real... Oh, my God, the double clicking! Seriously. That's fucking stupid. Don't change the rules on me mid-game. Okay, so so now I'm being dumb like the AI and just leaving the... Well, if the French want to advance this way further into cutting themselves off, be my guest. Wait, these guys don't swap? Oh, I'm confused. Anyway, do that. There you go. Armored cars. Not the best. So that'll help weaken any enemy attempt to relieve them. And yeah, so alright, the Italian front. Other than my own stupid mistake. And then we can just kind of disrupt these guys, hopefully. Oh, nice, we destroyed one of their units too. So that was a success. I think we're going to have to pull one more unit. Do we know what the diplomatic situation is? 10 to 12 turns for the Romanians. So at least temporarily we're going to... Oh my goodness. Temporarily we're going to have to pull these Bulgarian troops out to face up against these Russians. We'll just rail them this way. We've still got about 10 turns. That's, you know, over 2 months game time. So that should be fine. The Ottomans, meanwhile, you need to rebuild these guys. And these guys. All right. So the Ottomans are reinforcing themselves, and Stalingrad is ours. Meanwhile, we are moving to cut off Rostov with our Ottoman troops. If we can swing around just a little bit further, we should be able to cut Rostov off and destroy that Russian unit. Might need more assistance here. You can see we filled in the gaps in our territory here. I think we're going to move the cavalry along the rail line here. Kemal Pasha. Meanwhile, our troops are going to advance on Orenburg. These guys will advance and link up. We're just basically following the rail lines. Keep these guys in supply. Follow the rail lines, advance more rapidly, and drive on Sardov. We can work our way up the Volga River. Eventually it leads to Moscow, doesn't it? Gorky. Oh yeah, Moscow's over here. Well, maybe not then. No, I thought the Volga goes all the way to Moscow. Guess I'm wrong. Anyway, we can advance up and cut off Moscow or something. I don't know, but things looking up ever so slightly, despite my own mistakes. Why is there a German unit way out here? Like, oh, because I swapped it out. Duh, because I'm stupid. All right, so that's about it for our turn. We've got to place our new units. So first of all, we've got to place this German unit. Well, I think if we just put them right next to Berlin, they'll be in great position to exploit that enemy being cut off. Meanwhile, since Romania is going to be at war with us very shortly, since we did pull one unit out of the Bulgarian front, we can put our new units in toward Bulgaria, and we're just going to jump on Bucharest as soon as they're at war with us. We'll probably need to pull some artillery back, but essentially we're just going to jump it. And I wonder if, using the Ottoman fleet might not be a bad idea as well to maybe bombard Constantia or whatever it's called, getting some free artillery in there. So there's that. We've got 44 whatever points left. I need to do some upgrading of the German military, definitely. Oh, wow. My guys are outdated. So how much does this cost? Only 2? Only 2 industrial points? Oh, 4. 5. 4. 2. All right. So we used up most of our points upgrading the German military here along the Western Front, but that should better enable us to deal with the French. Hopefully. Still got enough points here to upgrade one more German unit on the Eastern Front. Meanwhile, the Austrians also need to do some upgrading. We'll upgrade the Bulgarians first. We've got 23 points to upgrade the Austrians, which I think... I'm not sure who we want to upgrade. These guys are going to be attacked next turn, definitely, so they should be upgraded. Wait, we've got enough to upgrade these Germans too? Yeah, right, we'll do it. All right, so the Germans are all out of money. The Austrians are going to need some extra money to withstand the Russian attacks. So there you go. We just upgraded a huge chunk of our armed forces. Excellent, excellent. We don't have any money left, but hey, that's all good. We didn't produce anything this turn either, but I think the upgrades are going to hopefully pay off more than a unit or 2 extra of troops. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. So there we go. That's the end of that turn. We're going to go ahead and jump forward. We're going to be in April, and we'll see what happens here with our massive Russian pocket that we've built. Hopefully we can keep that pocket held shut and proceed to reduce it, knocking 4 Russian units out of the West Front. That could go a long way toward changing the dynamic of the, of the Eastern Front. That could go a long way in changing the dynamic on the Eastern Front. So I guess we'll see what happens. Lame. Russians don't attack. So we might have bitten off a little more than we can chew near Rostov because it looks, based on the AI, the fact that they're, kind of hovering over Kiev and Dnipropetrovsk, that perhaps the Russians are moving troops in to face off against the Ottomans. And that could rapidly change the situation in the Caucasus. But if they're doing that instead of deploying troops east, that's good for us as well. We're going to see here what happens on the Eastern Front if the Russians make a concerted effort to try and break out of this pocket with this really messed up front line that really doesn't have... I mean, we had pretty strong front lines. We have strong front lines on the Eastern Front, but on the Russian front, things aren't quite as clear. So you can see there the Russians moved in behind our troops near Prague, cut off that Bulgarian army. If they don't move any other troops, we should be able to break out of that next turn, but they will get an advantage against us in attacks against a unit out of supply. However, 1 Bulgarian unit is well worth the reduction of 4 Russian units, especially when 2 of them are full infantry size, full units. And AI seems to be taking a little bit longer than usual here. So I guess we'll see what happens. It's really moving slow. The frame rate's dropped. I mean, not that frame rate matters on a static image like this, but what's going on? All right. It just took a little bit longer than usual to think, I guess. So the French are trying to break that pocket we've built up. definitely, I'm sure. You can see there the British launched an attack. It's probably going to be 4 units. That Austrian unit's going to get destroyed. I think. If they attack from trees, they'll finish it off. Well, they just have to move through there to break the siege. What is going on? That was really weird. My computer just kind of froze up. I don't know if my computer's acting up right now or if it's something with the game. But geez, look at... You know, I thought destroying 4 Russian units on the Eastern Front would make a difference, but look at all of these units here facing off against the Austrians now. Looks like they're actually going to not wait to try and reduce those Bulgarians, at least if a judge by the fact that they launched an airstrike is any measure, and it does appear they're going to try and reduce that unit before they get the supply bonus. But the more time they're wasting doing that, the less time they're dealing with our encirclement. Good lord, do they have a lot of men. Okay, and the French continue their attacks here on the Western Front, this time against that unit we moved into their abandoned trench line. Seems like this turn's taking a lot longer. I guess there is a lot of fighting going on right now, but... That unit near Prague is good and surrounded. Good lord. I thought this was be like a turning point surrounding these Russian units, but it seems like they've got infinite replacements. I mean, they can just pull some troops from frickin' Austria. Holy crap, look at all these guys. I know I'm just going on and on about their manpower, but... Man, the Russian steamroller is a fact right now. And now they're advancing on Vienna, which has no defense right now. And again, I forgot about... Man, that is just the lesson of this series, is me forgetting that I have a submarine in the Mediterranean the entire course of the game. Economic deterioration in Austria. Didn't we have that last turn? Anyway. So we have a lot less money this turn. But we've got these Russian units that are surrounded. So that's good. But apparently... they don't give as much of a bonus as I would like. Meanwhile, these guys are totally out of supply. Well, you guys are pretty much toast. So, yeah. Crap. What do I want to do? Well, the tricky thing here is Leipzig could easily, not easily, but relatively easily be relieved if the Russians just move these guys here. I think what we're going to do is try and reduce Leipzig this turn. Well, I just need to know what the best way is going about doing it. Nice. That was a good die roll result there for us. this, we're going to pull these guys back 1 unit. So here's what we're going to do. Then we're going to pull these guys here to keep the encirclement going. We had basically a salient here where we were surrounded on 3 sides, so I had no desire to just sit there and let them destroy us. We've got enough artillery to do that. Goodness, I gotta select on a unit a frickin' mile away. There. So, 1 Russian unit destroyed. Very nice. Actually, 2 Russian units, because we destroyed the unit in Leipzig as well. So 2 Russian units destroyed in that pocket already. Now the 2 stronger ones are left. So that's a good result. Meanwhile, we at least destroyed that, what? Really need to pull an Austrian unit out and get it to frickin' Budapest. Or Vienna, sorry. This is just a mess of a front line. I'm just trying to figure out where the hell I'm going to go with it. I don't have any ammo left. Whoops. Close. All right. Get some reinforcements to these guys. The Austrians actually have a pretty good manpower pool to draw on right now. The French filled out their front lines. We're going to pull that guy back because he's in somewhat of a salient. I'll go ahead and reinforce him. Meanwhile, the Germans only have 12 manpower right now. There's no way they're going to survive, but we might as well make a run for it. I think if we advance here, it'll make it less likely that the enemy is relieved. That's my hope anyway. We gotta destroy these 2 Russian units while we can. And, yeah. Okay, we don't really have much else going on right now. Certainly could reinforce that artillery. We don't have enough money for a garrison or purchasing anything. So really it's just a matter of kind of tidying up our front line then at this point. So good thing is we destroyed that Italian unit here. That's always nice. Reduce the enemy units as much as possible. And nothing on the west front. East front, really. We don't have a whole lot that needs to be... Don't have a whole lot that needs to be reinforced. At the moment, we definitely need more men, but that's not going to happen this turn. That is impossible. How many more turns till 9 to 11 turns till Romania comes to war? Well, we could. Do they even have any rail lines right now? Railroad capacity, Bulgaria, nothing. Well, they're staying put then. All right. I'll let them retreat from Rostov if they want. I don't want to get too overextended, and I've got a feeling they're going to be coming toward here. All right. I don't want to just keep advancing into the hinterland of Russia. Although it is spring, you know, it's April, so if we're going to invade Russia, now's the best time probably, right? I don't want to keep advancing into the hinterland because I feel like they're probably figuring something out toward Kharkov or Dnipropetrovsk or whatever those city names are. So I think the better route is going to be coming toward here, because if we can take Sevastopol, we can kick the Russian fleet out of its main base. So I think we'll keep the front toward Zaristan or Stalingrad or whatever you want to call it. And we'll advance these guys toward Oldenburg. Hopefully we can overcome this small Russian garrison, as we kind of advance a little bit further. These cavalry need to move that way. We don't really have anything we can reinforce for them. They don't have enough money to reinforce anything. Can we get a rail line to the east? No. No, we can't. But we do have a rail unit. We just can't rail anywhere that we want to rail. Okay. Apparently the furthest we can rail is Adania. I'd really like to get these guys into the west, into this front. I mean, we've got guys in Beirut if we need. So I guess it's just a rail limitation on how far you can actually take them. So pull these guys out to Adania. Pull these guys in Beirut back to Jerusalem. So we've got some kind of reserve here in the event that things go bad. And there we go. All right, so I think that'll just about do it for this turn. Now we're going to cut this video off here. The situation is complex. We've got this Russian pocket here. We've got the Russians threatening to overwhelm Austria in the Eastern Front. The Western Front's pretty static. Italy is kind of a confused mess right now. The Caucasus has been a tremendous success for the Ottomans, and that's where we stand right about now. Meanwhile, the U.S. is still neutral. Diplomacy is suggesting that the Portuguese are going to come in on the side of the Allies soon. The U.S. relationship status looks like it's still declining. Declaring war on the United States will certainly displease the British. Well, great. We're already at war with them. Okay, so the tribes of the Arabian Peninsula are rebellious toward their Ottoman rulers. A successful Allied offensive of the Middle East may trigger full-scale rebellion. Well, they haven't had that yet, so that's good. So basically, we declare war on anybody. We'll piss off the United States, but we don't need to do that. We're not looking at expanding the war at this point. So there we go. That's the situation in April of 1916. I appreciate you tuning in for this somewhat disjointed video, and hopefully the next turn these two Russian units are going to be fully out of supply. We can fully reduce them and move on from there. But thank you for watching, guys, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer signing out.